Hi, I'm Tom D, broadcast journalist here of Gasworld, and I've been joined by our global content director, Rob Cockerill, and we're going to go through Rob's top picks throughout the year. So, Rob, back in March, I believe it was, we sat down here and discussed your picks for Q1. So, if you had to narrow that down to one pick, what would that be?
That's a tough question there, Tom. I think we'd seen so much going on in that first quarter. Unfortunately, with the war in Europe, that stole a lot of headlines and hearts as well. So it's a tough one, but I'd probably have to say it's one of the prevailing stories of the year, which is helium shortage 4.0. I think it was just being coined around the time that we were on air for those editors' picks. There was a lot of discussion around that. I think you said yourself recently we were on air the day after Russia invaded Ukraine with a helium webinar, and it was the source of much discussion. So just because it's been one of the biggest stories of the year, I'd have to say helium shortage 4.0.
Actually, the fact we still talk about it today is testament to how big of a story that was.
Absolutely, we're still in it, so yeah, big story.
Actually, now Q2, I've got your picks here. Just going to have to narrow it down to one of these.
You're going to have to remind me, yeah.
So we've got Air Liquide's largest ever liquid hydrogen production facility in Las Vegas, the major ASU deal for the world's largest LNG project in Qatar, Air Liquide's plans to build an $80 million ASU in Egypt, and finally Air Products' deal for world-scale green hydrogen-fueled ammonia facility in Oman.
Tough to narrow that down again, I'd have to say. They're all great editors' picks. I think they're all very much there on their merits, but again, simply for what it probably signifies, I'd probably go with the green hydrogen development in Oman with Air Products. You know, there's a lot of potential in the Middle East region. We've covered a lot of that this year on Gasworld TV. We've just been in Abu Dhabi for the MENA Industrial Gases Conference from Gasworld, and we talked a lot about the NEOM project in Saudi Arabia. I would say that project in Oman, that other project for Air Products, big story, big story. Green hydrogen's got so much potential and so much road to run yet.
Absolutely. So moving into the second half of the year, your Q3 pick, if you had to narrow that down to just one, what would that be?
Yeah, I was just looking through these actually on here. We talked about India advancing large-scale green hydrogen production. President Biden signed the historic $52 billion CHIPS Act. And of course, those huge CO2 shortages in North America that were hitting breweries at the time we were recording that, and continued to unfold for months afterwards. Which one would I choose out of those? Again, it's really tough to pick any of those stories, but I guess we've got to say the CO2 shortages. I mean, it's a story that just keeps running and running across the Atlantic, in North America, in Europe. And we still see that playing out now. We still see a very tight market, if not full-blown shortages. So much just the same with helium. It's one of those enduring stories of the year, so I'd have to go with the CO2 shortages.
Absolutely. We continue talking about it in Austria next year. We'll no doubt be talking at it with our CO2 event there. So
yeah, and we'll be coming back to the US with another CO2 summit as well. So
of course,
yeah.
So keep an eye on that one.
Yeah, absolutely.
And finally, I think I know what this is going to be. Our viewers and readers might know what you're going to pick for our Q4 pick here, but Rob, what's that going to be?
Slightly from a personal note and perhaps selfishly, but I think you're right, you know which it's going to be. Gasworld, as many of you may or may not know, has undergone a management buyout in the last month. So we're under a new ownership, a new direction of travel, but with the same commitment to high quality content and being the must-read publication, the must-attend event, and the must-partner platform for everyone watching. And we'd like to thank everyone across the year for all of your support as always, and we will continue to do everything we can to meet your needs in 2023 and beyond. So that's a real personal favourite for me, a great high point to end the year on. Yeah, that's my Q4 pick.
Absolutely a great pick, and we look forward to next year and the years to come.
Absolutely, we've got a busy programme ahead next year.
We certainly do. So Rob will be sat down here again next year doing webinars, editors' picks once again. But until next time, is a goodbye from me.
And a goodbye from me.